Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to discuss few more important topics which are data repartitioning and joins in PySpark. Now, if you have not seen our previous video, I would recommend you to go back and watch our playlist. Click the I button at the top. I am in my Jupyter Lab environment. As usual, we will use the same employee data that we have been using in our previous sessions. As you can see, this is our employee data and we have employee schema where all the columns for the employee data frame are string. Other than this, today we will create a department data frame that we will be using for joining the datasets. For department, we have department ID, department name, city, country, and budget. All the columns for the department are also string. Now, to move forward, let's create our employee and department data frames and our Spark session. We'll run through the cells quickly. Okay, our cell execution is complete. This is our employee data set, and similarly, this is our department data set. If we see the schema, all the columns for employee and department are string. We will use department ID, which is the common column between employee and data frame, to join the data sets. But before that, we will see how Spark handles data repartitioning. We know Spark works on data partitions. To see the number of partitions for each data frame, we can just write emp.rdt.get num partitions. And if we run this, we have 8 partitions for our employee data frame. Similarly, we can see the data partitions for department. Okay, our department data is divided into 8 partitions. Now, what if we want to reduce or increase the number of data partitions as per our requirement? Spark provides us utilities such as Repartition or Coalesce to do that. Let's consider an example where we will create a new EMP partition data frame with 4 partitions. For that, we'll write EMP partitioned and we'll write EMP dot. Now we have to reduce the number of partitions to 4. We can write repartition and we can put 4. If we run this, nothing happens. Let's see the number of partitions for EMP partition. See, the number of partitions is reduced to 4. Now, can we increase the number of partition? The answer is yes. If we put the number of partition as 10 and if we run this, you see the number of partitions has increased to 10. Can we increase it to 100? The answer is yes. If we run this, the number of partitions for the data has increased to 100. Now, Spark has one more utility called Coalesce. The benefit of Coalesce is you can reduce the number of partitions without data shuffling, but you cannot increase the number of partitions for a data frame. So, for our employee data frame, we had 8 number of partitions. Now, if we put Coalesce and if we run this, see the max number of partitions that you can get is 8 because Coalesce cannot increase the number of partitions. But what if we have to decrease? Consider we want to make it 4. See, we can decrease the number of partitions. The benefit is Coalesce will reduce the shuffling between the executors. Now, if you don't know what is executor, I would recommend you to go back and watch our playlist, How Spark Works. What if we want to repartition the data based on a column? Consider we want to repartition the data into 4 partitions but based on department ID. We can write, if we run this, see the number of partitions is 4, but this time the data is partitioned based on department ID. It implies same department ID will lie in the same partition. But there is one big demerit of repartition. Repartition will involve shuffling. It implies in order to make the desired partitions, the data would be moved across executors. Now, we are discussing this as theory. What if we want to see how the data is moved across partitions? To see the partitions information, we can import Spark partition ID from PySpark SQL function. Let's import that. Now, let's create a new data frame called EMP1, which will give us the information about the partitions. To do that, we will write emp.with column to create a new column called partition number, and we will use the function Spark partition ID. If we run this, as you can see, we have partition number info. So the first two records are in the partition number 0. Similarly, we have the last four records in the seventh partition. But if you see, the same department ID is in different partitions. So here 102 department ID is in the first partition, and again the 102 department ID is in the third partition. So in this case, we can repartition the data to bring in all the similar department IDs into the same partition. Let's do that. Let's put emp.repartition and we'll put 4 and we'll do the department ID partitioning. You see, all 102 department ID is in the first 0 partition, and similarly 107 is also in the 0 partition. Now in this case, you can see all 102 is in the 0 partition. There is no 102 department ID in different partition. So we have segregated department IDs in the similar partition. Now you might be thinking, why are we doing this? There is a huge optimization benefit when we repartition the data properly. We will see this when we discuss the advanced optimization techniques in PySpark. For now, you just need to know to repartition the data, we can use repartition or coalesce accordingly. Let's discuss about joins. We know join plays a very crucial role in SQL to join two data sets. So to understand join in PySpark, let's use this example. We have a SQL query where we will join employee and department as inner join. Based on the condition employee.department ID is equals to department.department ID. And we will select few of the columns from each of the data sets. To do that, we first need to write emp dot, we need to join, we'll write join, and we have to join with department, we'll write DEPT, which is our department data frame. Now, how are we going to join? So the how is equals to inner. And we are going to join on condition, which is emp dot department ID. And we have to put a equality condition, which is double equals to. And we have to put department dot department. This concludes our join. If we run this, here is the joint data frame. You can see all the columns from both the data frames, but we need to select few of the columns. We don't need to select all the columns. So we can write dot select emp dot emp name. See, we have the joint data frame with the department name column, the department ID, name of the employee, and the salary. Now, if you have seen here, we have done aliasing. We have used emp and dept dot. The reason is because we have a department ID column which is ambiguous, which is in both the sides, emp and department. So to do aliasing, you can write the data frame dot department ID. But consider your data frame name is big and you want to short it down. You can put dot alias during the join condition, where you can put E for employee, and for department you can write alias, which is D. In that case, we can write E dot name, D dot department, E dot department, and E dot salary. Now you see, we get the same output, but this time the aliasing happened on the alias. But if you're doing an alias, you need to put in double quotes because this is a column name now. We did an inner join in our first example. What if we need to do left outer join? The example remains same. We need to use the same column names, but this time in place of inner, we'll do the left outer join. Let's copy the same query. But now in place of inner, we will write left outer. And if we run this, same solution, but we need to select the columns. So we'll put dot select. I think now you can understand how we can do the joins very effectively in PySpark. Time for bonus tip of the day. Now, we have seen joining conditions which are pretty simple, but we know we might have certain cascading join conditions such as and, or, And we have to also put conditions such as not null, null. To do that, we will see how we can write such cascading joining conditions effectively in PySpark. Consider we will do a left join between EMP and department data frames, but we will do it based on department ID and only for departments 101 and 102. Let's write our final data frame. We'll write EMP dot join. Our joining condition is with department and we are joining as left outer. Now, our on condition is very important. We have to join based on department ID and also based on departments 101 and 102. So we will write on equals to. Now for each cascading, you have to open and close brackets. So our first condition is based on department ID. So we'll write EMP dot equals to equals to. Now our second condition is and EMP dot equals to 101, and our department can be 102. So we can write one more condition, but for cascading we need to make this in bracket. So we'll make this in bracket, then we'll write our or condition, which is or, and we'll again write in bracket, which is our second condition, which is department ID is equals to 102. Now let's run this. Great. If you see, now our joining condition is only based on department IDs 101 and 102. For all other department IDs such as 103, the values for the join condition is null. Now, what if we need to put not null conditions? For that, we can write one more and condition, which is and. We can open and close bracket. We can write emp dot salary dot. For conditions like null and not null, Spark provides us utility like is not null and is null. You can write is not null and you can run this. We'll have the same output because all our salaries are populated. There is no null salary. Now, if you put it as null, you see all the conditions has been removed. Everything is null because we don't have a null salary. This is why the joining is not happening. I hope you understand how we can write the cascading joins in PySpark effectively now. It is very important to remember that for each of the cascading join, you have to include them in brackets. And for an AND condition, you need to use AND percentage, and for an OR condition, you need to use a vertical pipe. I hope this session was useful for you. In our upcoming sessions, we are going to look more into how to read and write data and how we can use the SQL context from PySpark in order to write SQL queries. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, keep sharing.